Hey, what's up everybody? Here to bring you an early look at the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Storm Collectibles Ermac from Mortal Kombat. So, let's get started. First and foremost, as always, I want to say special thank you to Storm Collectibles. You guys have continued to be a blessing to me, and I appreciate you guys. So thank you for always looking out. Now, let's get started on the video. If you love Mortal Kombat ninjas, you already know what you're getting to in the Ermac. But if you haven't bought a ninja, you're trying to figure out what to do, and you want somebody that's red, Ermac is the guy for you. Now, here's the reason why. Ermac is dope. And I say this because Ermac's just a tiny bit different from the others, not design-wise, but accessories-wise. And we'll get into that later. But let's start with the basics of the review. As usual, make you guys happy. Start off with the head. The head is really dope because it's different eyes-wise. He's the first one to have green eyes, while the others either have white or a color variant eyes. He's the first to have green and neon. And it kind of does the whole red-green motif, and it's really nice. Really nice. The head can tilt left to right. It can look down. Not very well, but still looks up very, very well. It leaves a little gap there, but that's not an issue if you know what you're doing with the figure. The mask is that reminiscent, I believe, of Mortal Kombat 3. We actually get Ermac like as a playable character. I can't remember if it's 2 or 3, but it might be 3. The gi on him is actually soft plastic like always, and if you rip it down, this is what you get. You get your patented Storm Collectibles shoulder articulation with the butterfly, as well as swivel, and a nice rotation that goes up, down, and pretty much all the way around. The gi just kind of gets in the way of it, but if you move it over, you clearly can see that it goes 360 degrees, which is dope. Like I said, you get your arm swivel. The arms are indeed double jointed. You'll see it right here by rotating. The wrist rotates all the way around, and it can flow out. You just have to be a little bit careful. These actually come out very easily, but I think for a very good reason. I don't want them being difficult to pop out and break. I like that. Some people don't, and that's fine. Next up, I want to talk about the ab crunch. It actually fars really far forward and really nicely back, and it rotates side to side very well. It may seem a little tight, but that's because the gi is actually in the way, and that's okay. Now, as far as the legs go, it's also really nice. The articulation actually can go pretty far out. So the Mortal Kombat ninjas probably have the best articulation of all the Mortal Kombat guys. You know, so you can get your Johnny Cage on. It actually rotates all the way to the back as well. So you actually get a nice rotation of the legs. You go forward, and this is all soft plastic, so you don't have to worry about it breaking or getting in your way. So if I want to do a jump kick with Ermac, it should be pretty much easy, because there's also thigh swivel. You can actually rotate his arm forward, and just like that, you can actually do a nice jump kick with Ermac. This is really dope, and I like this. I like that you can actually see and rotate, and it looks fluid, very, very fluid on the character. So even if you wanted to do like a mid-motion or a rotation, you see what you're getting here. The leg armor is done really nice. There's actually a little bit of rust and wear on it. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't think there's going to be a bloody variant, and if so, there is probably going to be one. But if there is one, it's probably going to be a darker color red to match this color red. Now, the ankle pivot actually rotates very well because it's on a ball joint. And there's toe pivot as well. And there's also a pivot that goes back and front, as you can see here. So I think I've covered all about that on articulation. Next up, we go. See that hand popping out. Let's pose him up really nicely. Get him to a nice little boxing pose. Should I say boxing stance? We have him look nice. Next, we're going to talk about Ermac's accessories. You get a hand for holding items. So if you want to grab a spear from Scorpion or Noob Saibot or anything like a sword, it's very easily with this hand. You only get one of them, not two. So you just get one, and that is for the right hand. You get karate chopping hands, or basically stance hands, is what you're going to call them. Or, you can call them prayer hands. Whatever it is you want to do for them, you get 2 of each. Then you get more like active hands, more open palms. These may be stance hands, depending on how you want to go about it. Depending on your Mortal Kombat staple, what you choose. Next up, we have... These are straight up martial arts hands. These you can use for grabbing, holding, stances, fighting, whatever it is you're going to choose, these are the hands for it. They're soft plastic, and that's the really good thing that I like about the Storm Collectible stuff. As you can see here, you can move it around and play with it. So if you want to heat up the joint, you can actually get something going. And I believe I dropped an effect part. Let me grab that. What? So this is the effect part that I really like, that kind of sets Ermac apart for his telekinesis. They're green orbs. Yeah, you don't get one, but you get two. One for each hand. Now, what's going to be dope about this is, at first I was trying to figure out how would I go about this. And you literally just, like that, it opens with no issue. So with that, you pretty much have to make sure that what you do is you line it up along the ball joint, right? As you can see here, you're going to line it up along the ball joint. Make sure you don't pull it all the way out. Line up the back side of it. And you pop it on. And just like that, you have his telehang. So that's really, really dope. It's kind of going to be the thing that you can put on both hands, set yourself apart from it, do all the good stuff. I like it a lot. Like I said, you absolutely get two of them. So if you want to Jean Grey your opponents by lifting them in the air, ripping their arms up, it's totally possible now. That reminds me, that gets us to the next thing. That being said, oop. Oh man, I got a mosquito in. Let's try to ignore him. I already ripped off Scorpion's arms for you. And with that being said, here are the effect parts for it. So you get these cool ripped off arms. And it's really easy because it's for the ninjas. You kind of just pop the arms right out of the socket. They come out very easily. You don't have anything to worry about. But it's nice to see these actually in action. They have the nice dirty blood approach. You can see where the arms are actually ripped off on it. So you can see right where the tears are. So that's really good. And these actually pop in very easily. So now you have your ripped arms looking really good. To the point where, once you lift them up, you put them in. And be careful. Ooh. The reason why I was saying be careful is because they actually are very stiff. So you may want to give it some shock oil to actually loosen that up a bit. But as you can see, as of right now, we have ripped arm Scorpion. And then for the next effect, last but not least, you have the telehang effect. Now, this one gets a little tricky, but I advise you pay attention to the part that leans more forward, because that's going to be the part that should face forward on either a ninja or any other character that you're going to put it on. I've tested it on a few. So as you can see, it fits perfectly on the ninja's necks. But the only people you're going to have trouble with are people like Alex and Zangief if you're going to use other Storm stuff. But it does fit on Hayachi very well. You got to make sure it just faces forward, though. All in all, Ermac is really dope. The unique part of the unique effect parts set him apart from the others. So if you do love the Mortal Kombat ninjas, or you're aiming to get more effect parts or things that are unique, this is definitely a must-have for you. But if you're tired of ninjas, it's obviously going to be an easy pass. But with them announcing new characters, why not pick up the whole roster, right? Anyway, let's get into size comparisons. Let's go with you first. First up, Kamen Rider Cougar, as usual. As you can see, he's a bit smaller, but the Storm Collectible stuff is more 7-inch to 1/10 scale, depending on how you look at it. So that's that. Next up, we have Mezco Captain America, which actually scales a little bit better with the ninjas. Not all too much, but still better. Next up, we have the Mafic Superman, which seems to scale pretty okay with the ninjas. I mean, size-wise, as far as width, he's a little bit smaller, but height-wise, it's okay. He's only a little bit smaller than the others. Next up, we have Marvel Legends Iron Fist. Shout out to CJ and your custom clothing. I appreciate you for that. So as you can see, Marvel Legends are a bit smaller, but if you try a much larger Marvel Legend, wait, I have one around here somewhere. There we go. So if you try a larger Marvel Legend like Sabretooth, you actually get a better size comparison with the larger Marvel Legends than you do the smaller stuff. Next up, Storm's Collectibles own Hayachi Mishima, who beats up ninjas daily. That's what he does. As you can see, he's much bigger than ninjas. Then next up, we have Street Fighter V Goki, aka Akuma. he also towers over ninjas. So for him, it is literally not an issue to beat up ninjas. So even crouching down a little, you can see with the main, he's towering over Ermac. Next up, we're going to use Alex from Street Fighter. So this big hunk of earth right here. As you can see, he's much bigger than the ninjas. And last but not least, we're going to compare him with Shao Kahn, who, you know, is in universe. So as you can see, Shao Kahn is no one to also be played with. He is much bigger as well. So it really works out just fine. In the meantime, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Special thank you again to Storm Collectibles. I appreciate you guys so much. In the meantime, do good, be good, drink your water. Later, guys.